So, in late June of 2016, I came across this article in my local paper. And in this article, as you can see, nonprofit GD at Play offered to build a 1.3 million artificial field for my high school. As soon as I saw this, I thought it too good to be true. And as a matter of fact, I read in this book, Trust Us, We're Experts, that many of the plastics commonly used in these artificial turf fields are toxic and are carcinogenic. After this, I did a month and a half of research on GD at Play online. And the most that I could find about them was this PDF. It was about 10 slides long and only enumerated GD at Play's plan to build this artificial turf field. There was no contact information and no financial, environmental, or health projections whatsoever. And I also did some further research on artificial turf itself. Now, as it turns out, more or less turf fields are all the same. The structure is like a shag carpet with some crumb rubber or crumb plastic infill for cushioning. And as it turns out, a common misconception is that these plastics are safe for use. Unfortunately, that is very much not the case. Many of these plastics are carcinogenic and have been linked to breast and ovarian cancers and can also prevent the treatment of said cancer. Furthermore, during normal wear and tear, they can leach toxins that affect human hormones into the environment. And additionally, it has also been shown in scientific studies that these fields are worse for heat stroke and concussion rates than natural grass fields. And finally, several financial estimates have shown that artificial turf fields are more costly to maintain in the long run than a natural grass field. So, to gain some supporters, I attempted to start a grassroots movement at my high school. So I spoke to my classmates and members of my community, and I set up a booth at my school to try and convince them of the detriments of artificial turf. In addition, and here you can see a flyer that I made when I was doing my campaign at my high school. In addition to speaking to my classmates and members of my community, I also reached out to environmental professionals and scientists, including two particular persons, Mr. Pine and Mr. BW, we'll call them. Mr. Pine is a Cornell-educated environmentalist, and he wrote an op-ed letter of opinion to my town paper regarding his opinion as to the possible risk of the proposed artificial turf field. He was very accommodating to a young environmentalist like me and referred me to many of his contacts within the environmentalist community, including Mr. BW. In addition to contacting Mr. Pine and Mr. BW, I also contacted the Massachusetts Natural Heritage Program, which is a regulatory organization dedicated to preserving endangered species. Their jurisdiction does cover projects like the artificial turf field that GD at Play was proposing. I also contacted their subsidiary organization, the GCC, whose jurisdiction only covers the town of Groton. The outreach results were disappointing, to say the least. Most of the environmentalists I contacted told me that they were sympathetic, but they did not dare to speak out in public for fear of, as one environmentalist put it, not being allowed to conduct their experiments on school grounds. Because I had no support, I went into the final decision on 13th December 2016 alone. I remember that the only people who spoke out against this project that day were myself and two other members of the community, one of whom happened to be an IT sector veteran. Unfortunately, GD at Play was also present at this final decision meeting, and they told the school council, which was the final decision maker, that if they would, the school council, approve this project, GD at Play would provide them with significant benefits, including revenues from uses of the artificial turf field, such as renting it out to other teams and sports fans. And that is the end of it. It has been a pleasure to speak to you tonight, and this is most certainly not the end of my presentation. Very sorry to disappoint you. It's been about 1.5 years. I'm not done yet. It's been about 1.5 years since that final decision where GDA Play's project was approved. And unfortunately, they don't seem to have removed so much as a shovelful of our grass field. During my campaigning, I managed to pester GDA Play into promising that they would only use private donations, not taxpayer money. And as it appears, they have been starved of money because no one wants to donate to them, I suppose. In fact, GDA Play has claimed that our field is not sufficient for uses. As you can see, even though it looks a little dry and drab in this one, after a couple rains, it's perfectly healthy. So I think in summation, what I've learned from this experience is that it's certainly good to get involved in the environmental and community help projects, especially from an early age on. I think this experience has greatly changed my worldview and how I view the real world, and I highly recommend it. Thank you.
I'm sorry, but time's up. Thank you very much.
Q&A session.
好，我来做下1分钟的总结。这位同学的高中呢，原本使用的是天然草坪，但是学校决定将草坪更换为人工草坪。经过这位同学的调查与研究呢，他发现人工草坪的材质具有一定的致癌性，并且会影响到生态环境和多种物种。然后此后，他便游说于学生家长与各个学校社团中，介绍人工草坪的危害，并联系专业人士而支持他的观点。在他努力下呢，学校的同学、老师及领导都意识到了人工草坪的危害性，并取消了更换草坪这一方案。通过他的研究调查，并将意愿付诸于行动，这位同学充分展示出了我们领导力的精神。这就是他所展示的大致内容。谢谢。
请评委提问。
What was the most difficult happened to you?
我觉得最困难的地步就是我在跟我的同学们说的时候，他们真的听不进去我有我的话，所以他们不停的来跟我骂我，或者是说，哎，你这个蠢东西，我们必须要那个学校草坪，你怎么能这样说呀？哎，走，你这个蠢东西。
I give you my highest prize because I need to make this point to all the first 3 projects and maybe most of the following projects. You need to understand the differences between a school project and a leadership project. The first 3 projects, I say you'll be very marvelous as school projects, but when you take this as leadership projects, you need to make the change. You need to make the change to the society. Maybe it's small, maybe it's minute, but you need to make the change.
Please cut the long story short. Thank you. We don't have much time.
Yes. Please let me finish this. This is very important. This is the core of the leadership project. As this presenter did very great, it's because he made the change. He made the practical movement. So please, you need to understand the differences. Thank you.
谢谢先生，夸我吧，你说我太高了。还有问题吗？
观众还有问题吗？
是一个问题。
换了吗？没有。
I think your topic is indeed meaningful and it may
我觉得呢，如果你也碰到像这样的问题，我就觉得，人家很多人会跟你说， 你不要管，你不要管，不要管闲事，不是你应该管的事，不要听他们。如果你觉得这是一个东西，你必须要 stand up for 那你一定要做。